Check, check. Be careful. Welcome to the Board of Aldermen Workshop, Salado Municipal Building, 301 North Stagecoach Road, Salado, Texas, February 9th, 2026, and it is 5 o'clock. Mr. Nelson, want to call the roll?
Yes, we do have a quorum present in person and then one member attending online in accordance with Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551.127, which does allow for video conferencing to take place at regular board meetings.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to introduce our new village?
Yes. If you haven't met her, Kathy Terry is the new city secretary for the village. She's sitting over here. She has a wealth of knowledge in municipal government and has served as the village secretary or city secretary for another general law city. So she is really hit the ground running, and we welcome her, and we look forward to working with her over the next few months and the village for quite some time.
All right, thank you. All right, public comments, item 1. A, items not listed on the agenda. The Board of Aldermen welcomes comments from citizens on issues and items of concern not on the agenda. Those wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting begins and observe a 5-minute time limit when addressing the board. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak during this time. Inquiries about matters not listed on the agenda will either be directed to the staff or placed on a future agenda for Alderman consideration. No discussion or final action will be taken by the Board of Aldermen during this public comment period of the meeting. Is there any public comment? Nope. All right. Item B. We're going to do a little things different now. We're going to put all the agenda item public comments. It's going to be item B under number 1. So, items on the agenda. The Board of Aldermen welcomes comments from citizens on issues and items of concern not on the agenda, or on the agenda. Those wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting begins and observe a 5-minute time limit when addressing the board. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak per agenda item during this time. Public comments on agenda items will only be received during this portion of the meeting. No discussion or final action will be taken by the Board of Aldermen during this public comment period. Is there anybody that has comments for the agenda items? Linda.
So this is on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. Sure is.
Linda
Yes.
Reynolds, 1110 Mill Creek Drive. About item agenda A, the economic development number 1 problem. I had trouble reading page 10 of that because it's all colorful. Can we suggest to the stagecoach, we don't need all those colors, we need to be able to read what they wrote. It's a chart that says something. The other thing, at some point, I hope we find out exactly what percentage of their hotel motel tax we have to pay them and for how long. Because I know there were changes at some point with the previous mayor. And also, well, I know that we give a portion of our hotel motel tax to the county for the expo center. I don't, if that is still going on, I'm curious to know, does the stagecoach deal supersede the county's money, or do we pay the county their money and then we pay stagecoach too? So we end up with no hotel motel tax probably. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything on that? Okay, awesome. All right, anybody else on comments on the agenda items? Nope. All right, we're going to move on to number 2, the workshop. A, discussion of Stagecoach Economic Development Agreement and the 2025 report. Mr. Nelson. I'm sure she'll be here probably for the meeting. Board of Aldermen, yeah.
Coach has provided for the board to review a PowerPoint. In addition, not in your packet, I don't believe, but there were some spreadsheets that they were asked for that they provided us and we've shared with the board for the incentive payment as requested in accordance with the agreement that they have with us.
Yes, I know Alderman Dunch, even though he's on YouTube right now, he, along with me, we wanted an itemized report, and that's what's on your desk here. I don't know if you guys looked at it. You guys have any other comments? Alderman Sandor? Alderman Lasker?
Yes, on Ms. Reynolds, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you. Back in the meeting that was last week, I had met with the Stagecoach people, both Neil Dunch and myself did. We had a discussion about the agreement, and we had received a one-page summary of the monies they spent, kind of as a overall fact summary, and we just wanted to make sure that we had the detailed backup or the ledger sheets behind it to support every one of those expenses that totaled up to the amount that they were saying they spent. And I'll ask Gina and Urian, or both, either one can answer, but I want to make sure that y'all were in agreement with what they produced, met with the amount of money that they said in total they had spent.
So I did not go through this document with fine-tooth comb. I know we asked them, they produced it, a rapid turnaround time. So I can't verify everything, and I wouldn't ask Gina to as well.
Okay.
We have capacity concerns. What I would say is, I believe that they've been very forthcoming in all the information that we've requested from them. And I believe they've come in, are they here now? They are here to provide their presentation. These two agenda items, A and B, kind of coincide with each other. But yeah, they've provided us the information that's been asked for, and we've shared that with the board, but we have not independently verified that as staff. But I think moving forward from this gives staff the opportunity to kind of understand what the board is looking for the next time we go through this, so that we're not at the end trying to gather all of the information and verify it. What our financial contractor or financial staff has said is the check that she has cut and issued is in accordance with the agreement and with all of the documentation that they've provided at this time.
And all the documentation that has been provided, we have not verified, but we have matched up the general ledger to the amounts on the summary page, at least in total, correct?
In total.
Okay, in total, all right. And we do have that, if anyone was to ask, I assume it'll be part of open records moving forward.
I can't speak
The ledgers, general ledger that they provided for that.
any of the information for this, of course, I'd be happy to share it with through an open records request. Should our attorney say that it's allowed?
Okay, I just want to make sure of that. So, all righty, those that's all the questions I have.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Dunn, can you hear?
Apologize for not being able to be there, but hopefully you guys can hear me. Are you guys able to hear?
You're
Hello?
echoing all over the place. We can't understand what you're saying.
Okay. You can understand?
That's still echoing really bad. Can you try again, Neil? Then we'll have to move on.
No, if you guys can't hear me, I apologize.
That's good now.
Okay. No, my understanding is that the general ledger was provided with the details of the advertising costs. Is that what's on our desk?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The other thing that we requested was in regards to the contract that they were supposed to hire 25 full-time equivalents. And I don't think we had a report that just showed a badge number with a job description like dishwasher. I think one of the things going forward that we need to ask for of them is a report from the Texas Workforce Commission on a wage report would be and I think that has to do with them getting their property tax rebate. But I would conditionally like to see that be included as well.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Then I don't have any comments, but would you guys want to come up and do your presentation and answer some of the questions that he had? No, just give us an overview, not the whole thing.
What Neil's referencing is we completed the compliance affidavit that's a part of we completed the compliance affidavit that's a part of the agreement and notarized it, and then we were able to get our HR to pull a report from our system, Paylocity, that Cole's able to share, and then we can certainly look into what the Texas Workforce Commission can provide for like a 2025 wage report or something that answers any other questions.
The report that I just forwarded over, and I just did it real quick, but I can send it to all of you as well, is what we would submit for ACA compliance. So it's the same thing that they'll receive.
Okay. So then that you guys are doing, employees are doing great.
Yeah,
enough to staff and
30. We have 50 employees right now. 30 are full time.
Okay. You guys have any questions for him? You got any questions for him, Neil?
I do not. I have the opportunity to speak with him. I appreciate the time you spent with us and the quick return on the additional backup information.
All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, we'll move on to 2B, discussion of Stagecoach economic incentive payment approval. Like you said, I think we just talked about all that on there, unless you guys have anything else to add to it. Alderman Lassiter, you got anything to add to it? No? Alderman Dunn, you got anything to add to it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 2C, discussion on community project funding award for West Village Road. Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. So earlier this week, staff had a call with the community project funding folks for with West Village Road. They are still waiting on the village to actually approve us moving forward with that project. It has been kind of postponed and kicked down the road. We don't have anything. We have the official award, but we don't have anything input into their system or any type of budget or anything like that. So they asked me when we were on the phone if we were still interested in moving forward with the project, and additionally, this is a 100% funded award. You know, I know when this award was originally given to the village, there was a certain scope in place for this. There is an opportunity to kind of reduce that scope and capture all costs associated with this by the congressional award. So there would be no cost to the village. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gina, this is not an 80-20. This was 100% correct.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it too. Even the environmentals, all that, you just got to put it in your sub plan and all that, and that was a good deal. Do you guys have anything on?
Yeah, I do. It's a $5.5 million grant that we're not going to let go away. We have every intention, I think, as a board to move forward with that, and I mean, we'll find out shortly, but my intent would be that we move forward with West Village Road and the $5.5 million grant. I don't think this village can afford to let grants move away from us, given the current condition of our roads and the neglect of repair and maintenance that they've kind of had over the last several years. I intend on working with Mr. Uriah Nelson and staff and anyone else appropriate to reduce the scope of work to a point where it makes better sense than what was originally drafted, and also do so in a way where all of our engineering, architectural, environmental, and other fees, like Mayor Pro Tem just spoke on, would be captured inside of that same budget. So we're not looking to reach beyond the $5.5 million. Instead, we plan on doing a scope of work conducive to spending up to $5.5 million, all in with grant money only.
On the last one, you got anything?
Thank you, Mr. Sandor. I am glad you clarified that for everybody. I agree with Alan that we can't afford to bypass $5.5 million. Our roads are deteriorating assets. Many of them are 25, 30 years old, and it's not only an issue there, it's an issue across the board, which, as y'all have heard, we are looking at and working towards a road bond project in November, a road bond proposal. So, yes, I'm in agreement with that. I'm anxious to get started on that. I guess someone was to ask us why we haven't done anything at this point. It's primarily our focus has been the Royal Street project and make sure we met the timelines associated with that. And they were as of the beginning of February, and we barely made those, but we did. And it took a lot of work and a lot of concentration by the staff and our engineers to do that, but we were successful in moving it forward. So I look forward to working too with Alan and the rest of the board on moving the West Village project forward. That's pretty much it at this point. Look forward to getting started on it and working with y'all and seeing the Royal Street project to fruition in a year and a half or so. Alan, once it started?
I think that the discussion in the past has been that it would be a plus or minus 18-month project. I intend to challenge that and shorten it if possible. We have certain steps we have to take to get to a point where I would be willing to dive in and utilize staff and engineer resources. You know, engineers are on retainer, so as soon as we get to that very soon, I will begin to start challenging the idea that not only do I not believe that it will take 18 months to do that project, I think it can be done in less time. I also am going to try to work with the board to make sure that when we come up with a construction schedule, it's one that hopefully is conducive to the least amount of impact to the Christmas stroll, which is obviously the biggest thing that we do here every year. There will be some impact. It'd be impossible to tear a road out and rebuild it without some impact. But I think with good strategic planning, we can do it with minimal impact and with citizen safety first in doing that. So yes, 18 months, but I'm gonna respectfully challenge it at some point.
The last thing I'd like to say, and I know he doesn't want any applause, and I'm not suggesting that, but I do want to make sure that people understand here that Mr. Sandor has put in an incredible amount of time with respect to that project. I can candidly say that this project would not have gone forward under the time constraints we were under had it not been for his intensive efforts. And I'm grateful to you, and I think the entire village should be for your efforts in that. Thank you. And with that, I really don't have anything else to say on the West Village project. I just look forward to seeing it get going.
All right, thank you. Alderman Dunn?
I will just be echoing, the priority absolutely was Royal Street because the deadline was imminent. We do have time. I don't think any of us want to see the West Village Road end up being delayed. So I think we need to give support. My only question at this point was, my understanding is that we would have to fund that and then we would get rebates phased out. So financially, my understanding is we have to figure out how we would different phases and have the money to cover it until we're reimbursed.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll definitely keep that in mind as we move forward. We'll have a strategy to fund the project up front. The reimbursement process does not take very long at all, so it shouldn't be something that puts us in a bind.
So I don't know whether as a group we want to do both jobs, or both projects at the same time, whether there's advantages to that. But if we can get started sooner versus the latter, I would be supportive of that. And then we just got to have a strategy of making sure we have enough in the bank to cover until we get reimbursed.
Yes. He's taking your notes down right now. All right, you guys have anything else? I mean, I'm just going to echo what everybody said. It was a long process getting the Royal Street done, and I don't think we need to not use $5.5 million to finish off the West Village Road or get it even started. So thank you. All right, we're going to 2D. No, we did the agenda comments up front. Sorry. 2D, discussion of appointment of members and alternates to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Nelson.
What we have on here, with the resignation from Ms. Linda Reynolds from the P&Z, that opened a spot on the Planning and Zoning Commission. What we have submitted for consideration are 3 applications of the 3 individuals that applied basically first in line. What we did is we took the oldest and we grabbed those 3 to submit in front of you. I believe we had 5 or 7 total applications that were available to be submitted to the board, just so everybody knows. That being said, we grabbed the 3 oldest to submit for consideration of appointment for somebody to fill Ms. Reynolds' unexpired term, which goes through May 2026. We are also asking that the board extend that for an entire another term, because the term ends May 2026, in just a couple months. That being said, with the other applications that you are not seeing, in May of 2026, there are 4 other spots on the P&Z that are coming open. So those applications will be brought to you. We just felt that this was the most efficient way to get somebody appointed to this, especially having applications from as far back as we did.
All right, thank you. Alderman Sandor, do you have anything?
Are we able to ask said applicants if they're present?
Oh, yes. I mean, if we got all the applicants here tonight, got 2 of you. You guys want to both come up? So we'll have questions for you. So you both come up, introduce yourself real quick, then if the board has questions for you.
My name's Austin Brown. Me, my wife Maggie, and our 3 kids just moved to Salado in August. We live at 1200 Ambrose Drive, down the street from Jeff. And I'm a small business owner, lived in Taylor prior to moving to Salado. My business is still there. I have an insurance background and 41 years old and just looking to get involved. I previously served on Parks and Rec Board in Taylor and also on the board, the Rotary Board for our local club there. So,
all right, thank you.
Sam Morris, I'm also working too. Yeah, so I'm the manager of load forecasting analysis at ERCOT. Yeah, just guess that application's been sitting out there a couple of years now, right? Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Alderman Sandor, you got anything?
Yeah, could you guys just give us a sentence or 2 on why you would want to be on the Board of Aldermen? Beyond you just want to help out, that's pretty obvious. Otherwise, you wouldn't volunteer. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Planning and Zoning. Yeah, we make mistakes too, sir.
for me personally, it's I care about all the decisions that come towards the the council, and hopefully can give my personal opinion as well as other constituents that I live nearby or in the community, and voice those opinions when the time comes for any development that could come into our town and my future town. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, so I'm very concerned with what may occur in the future here.
Well, on that, what is your stance on growth and development as it pertains to Salado? Because there's a lot of it coming this way.
Yeah, I think growth is good in a lot of aspects. I think that within that, everything needs to be looked at. I've seen it in Taylor, another location that has dealt with a lot of growth recently, and I think that at times there were not enough eyes on those decisions, and so I hope to be able to, like I said, as a resident now and a young citizen, I want to be able to give my opinion.
Yeah, for quite a while now, Salado kind of fooled itself in that we could control. Well, we could say no. This isn't coming. But it's coming. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Golden Chick, Taco Bell, right? It's all coming in. It's about trying to manage it, if you will, right? Make sure, does this make sense? right? And that's what it's all about. It's not about saying no, it's about trying to make a good plan. And so that's why I'm here. Okay, we've kind of done this in the past. School boards and planning boards back in Virginia, stuff like that. You know, here, half of my job is planning, right? So, yeah.
Alderman Laster.
Question for you, Ryan. Are we at this point in time being asked to choose one to fulfill the seat that Ms. Reynolds has vacated right now, today or tonight, with one of these people, or are we just listing the candidates?
No, that would, the choice, the recommendation from staff is to appoint one of the members from the applications that we've submitted tonight to serve the remainder of Ms. Reynolds' term on P&Z, as well as the next term, so they don't have to reapply in May.
And then would I assume that in May, all the other 3 or 4, how many alternates are you planning to carry? We planning to carry for this?
So we originally put alternates on there, and we actually, Gina may have already looked into this, but I would need to look at the ordinance on the establishment of the P&Z and the appointment of alternates and see what that describes before I could provide any solid guidance on that. Alderman.
So Alderman Lassiter, if I may.
Yes.
As well as you know, serving on planning and zoning, we are allowed up to 2 alternates.
Right.
We can. At this point, staff is recommending that we fill the 1 position. You have the other applicants in case the board decides that they want to look at, go ahead and bringing in an alternate before May.
Okay.
May is always our designated time frame that the terms end because of the election season. So that's when everything kind of switches over, and that's how it's been. So this is why you're seeing the additional applications in case you do want to fill that alternate. At some point in the future, we will need to do that to make sure that we can maintain the business moving forward. But having the 1 recommended seat this evening will maintain that we are going to be able to do our business at the commission at least through May.
Okay. So 1 person would do that, but in the absence of 1 person, we would not have a quorum. Would that be correct?
If, no, that would not be correct.
Okay.
We would still have a quorum.
Okay.
So the issue is having a vacancy, and if somebody's absent, then we do not have a quorum.
Okay.
So.
And who, may I ask, are the others that are presently on the planning commission remaining?
So we have Mr. Price, who is our current chairman.
Yes.
Gail Allard.
Yes.
Noreen Cross. I'm going to have her name next.
Oh, I know you.
She's going to beat me up for that. So Marlene Norcross. Thank you. Sorry, Marlene, if you're listening. And Jesse Mondragon.
Okay. I didn't know if Mr. Mondragon was still involved, but okay. So you have 4, so this would be 5, which is the normal amount. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Is the other person here, what's his name, Mr. Latman, or what was the other candidate? Is his name Latman? He was a
I'm not
PE.
aware that he's here.
Okay. He was aware of this meeting, though, I take it, and this was coming up tonight?
Yes.
He was made aware as these gentlemen were?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions.
Alderman Dunch, do you have anything?
Thank you.
At this time.
Please say not at this time.
Questions?
No questions? All right, thank you. And I have no more questions. If you guys go ahead and take a seat. Thank you, guys.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir.
May I have your names one more time, please? I apologize. Austin and thank you, guys.
All right, moving on to E, discussion of road and drainage study.
All right. The road and drainage study was we sent to everybody digitally because it was a very large file. You should have received that. If you didn't, please let me know, and we'll get a copy printed for you, but it's very large. That study was done by MRB, and they are waiting on a couple of items from us in order to finalize that study. In the current document that they have over the course of the next 9 years, I believe it is, $30 million worth of improvements listed. Earlier in the document, they actually list out which improvements by year and assign a budgetary number to that, right around $3 million each year. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. So at the end, it all works out to about $30 million. They basically are looking for guidance on if we would like those dollar amounts to change, the overall dollar amount and the yearly dollar amount, or if we are good with the final report reflecting what they currently have in there. This is just a study, a planning document. This doesn't say we are going to do $30 million worth of repairs in the next 10 years. This is a roadmap to get there. Should the village decide to do something, a road bond later this year or the next year, whenever the time is right. But this lays out, the floor plan to move forward with those activities. In addition to that, there's also an amendment that needs to be approved. I know there was some concern about the amendment. This dates back to October when the road study was actually being conducted. There was some additional work identified by the vendor that needed to, that they are asking for the amendment to be paid, that they did the work, but additional work was identified. This wasn't just we came in under budget. There was an additional hour assigned to every single street in the city, or additional streets. I would have to verify through all emails, but I do know it was for additional work. I thought I had included the email in the packet, and I do not. I can't find it in my message paper, but I'm happy to provide that to you following the meeting.
Okay, Alderman Sanders.
Yeah. So if we're talking about a $15,000 plus or minus $1,000 piece of money that they requested that we pay or invoiced us. I'm not sure if it was an invoice or I think it was an application for payment, as I recall it, and I could be wrong. But also, I believe when we last looked at it as a board, the language that was presented to us implied that they did, in fact, miss on their estimate, and that is why they were asking for that money. So if that has changed now, then my questions would be, number one, who approved it? Because I don't believe that the village administrator had the authority to approve $15,000 without this board. I think that his threshold was maybe $7,500. I could be wrong. And I know you may not have that answer right now, but I think it's worth looking into. And either way, we would, I think as a board, need substantial evidence that they let us know, or that we requested, someone up here requested an increase in scope of work, and that they proposed a cost for said scope of work, and that it was approved. And in that case, I would think that the village owes them that money, but I don't have that for the reasons you mentioned, and because I feel really confident that when we last looked at this as a board, and I'll go on record as saying that I met with the former village administrator, Mr. Manny De La Rosa, and I asked him what this was for, and he said that they missed on their original estimate. And I said, well, then that's not our problem. If we asked them to do a scope of work, and they said that that scope of work would cost $40-something thousand, and we approved that, which we did, and then they missed, I don't like that for them, but I mean, I'm in development and construction, and sometimes that happens, but I don't ever ask the client to pay for it when I miss. And so if that, I just need to, I think the board's going to want clarification on what we're actually talking about. Did they miss, or did we approve something and there's a good track record of all that? If we owe it to them, we should pay it to them. If not, then I don't know how that's going to go.
And I'm happy to look further into it. I'm just providing you with the
Yes,
information that I have right now, and I don't know all the backstory.
Yeah, and for the record, I'm not challenging Ryan Nelson. I'm just, for the record, making my point that it has been unclear to this board how and why we're being asked to pay another $15-something thousand that we did not approve. And if we did, I must not have been present, so I don't remember that. So, thank you.
Alderman Lester.
I would have to echo what Mr. Sandor said. I'm not aware of it. My understanding was that was all inclusive in terms of that study. To come back after that and say they're missed, I know that I didn't. I don't believe this board was ever challenged to approve anything other than the original amount, and that's frankly without a very good explanation, which I don't foresee. I prefer to stick where we are on it. We do plenty of business with MRB such that, I mean, it's a small amount of money to them. It's not a small amount of money to us. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Alderman Dunst, do you have anything?
No, I'd just be echoing, so, good, I'm good, thank you.
All right. I mean, yeah, I have nothing really to say to add on to what you all said, so.
Yeah, I'm happy to follow up with them and get more clarification and bring that information to the board.
Yeah, just, they can just prove to us that we contractually owe that to them. That would be a different discussion than what we were presented weeks and weeks ago.
I think the other item for the meeting tonight would be for the board to issue direction on the budgetary amounts for the study. Do you want to keep it as they proposed, or do you want to increase, be more aggressive, less aggressive, stretch the budget out 10 years, items like that?
You may have a comment on that, Mayor.
Yeah, go for it.
There's less aggressive.
Oh, go ahead, Alderman Dunst.
There's a big echo, so I apologize, guys, but no, I mean, I definitely feel like we need to go less. No way that we can put that big of a tax burden on the number of homeowners. And I think this is where I would lean to Alan and his expertise and looking at what the scope and level is of work, and potentially can we scale it back?
All right, thank you. You had something else.
I think my question, Mr. Nelson, would be, how imperative is it that we give that directive tonight? Because I'll go on record and say that I'm not ready. That is a major consideration. I know we've had some time, but we also have been juggling pretty hard. No excuses, and I'm not looking for a pity party, but I'm certainly not ready to make that determination. I can get more focused on that and intend to. We're just trying to fry one fish at a time. We got pretty big fish to fry here, so.
Yeah, I don't think it's super imperative. I just know that this is another one of those things that they've brought to me that, hey, we've been waiting on this. So if the board wants to push it to the next meeting, I'm happy to say, hey, they just received it, they're reviewing it, give us another meeting or something. I think they're just looking to get it off of their to-do list for the village.
Yes, and I respect that, but I also think that it's likely that this board might have an appetite for bringing the public in for a workshop specifically to discuss this, because it's going to affect them. And if we don't, then we're just doing what we've done in the past, which hasn't worked well. So I think bringing in constituents, taxpayers, just everyone who's interested in talking about it. And I know not everybody's going to be excited about it, but the fact remains the roads have to have a program to be maintained moving forward. We do not have a program for road maintenance at all, and that's probably ridiculous at some level. And so, I'm advocating that we start working towards a program that remains in place in the future, where there's always funds for point repairs and other things that need to happen, instead of putting cold patch in, which I appreciate very much the former mayor for doing so many of those, but cold patch is a Band-Aid before you jump into a lake. It doesn't last very long. So Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to F, discussion regarding additions to bank signatories.
Yeah, this is really just for continuity of operations, provided right now there are 2 aldermen that are authorized to sign checks. Staff recommendation would be that we add the other 2 in case 1 or 2 are out of town and unable to sign. That allows, like I said, for continuity of payments being processed.
Alderman Sanders, you got anything?
I have no comment.
Alderman Last.
I'm okay with that suggestion if that's what our administrative manager recommends.
All right, Alderman Dunn.
Comment or done?
We didn't understand you. Sorry, Neil.
At this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to G, discussion of possible rescheduling or cancellation of the second Board of Aldermen meeting in March. Mr. Nelson.
Okay. I have been made aware that 2 aldermen will be unavailable for the the second regularly scheduled March meeting. I also will be out of town for that meeting. Not that you couldn't hold a meeting without me. The board is perfectly capable to do that, I'm sure. That being said, I've recommended that we consider either rescheduling the meeting or possibly canceling the meeting.
The date that we're discussing canceling. And currently, there isn't. That doesn't mean we don't have a lot of business. We're just all tracking the business that we're already working on. So I think we can't have a meeting, so that part is what it is. And whether we should schedule another meeting or not, I also agree with the interim city manager that or village administrator, pardon me, that there are bandwidth issues still currently up here. And doing 2 meetings 2 weeks in a row just for the sake of doing it doesn't make logical sense. And that will work because of his second point, which is that the mayor pro tem can call for a special meeting. So if any of us realize that there's an issue that we need to come up here and have a meeting for, it's very simple. We just let the interim village administrator know. He lets the mayor pro tem know that we need to have a special meeting, and I can't imagine he would say no. He would probably oblige, and we just have to orchestrate what date that would happen on. Then a public notice would go out about a potential forum in the special meeting, and then we would have the meeting and conduct business. So just for clarity, that's how all that would work, and I don't think I have any other comments on it right now.
I do have one thing, just, because I'm sure it will come up. The audit report was scheduled to be presented at that meeting in March. The auditor cannot move his schedule to present it any other day. We will still be in compliance with the 25 audit requirements of the state, as long as we have filed the audit and the financial reports with the city secretary by the 31st of March. And then we can coordinate to actually get the audit firm back out here to present the results to the board and the public at possibly an April date.
Good. Alderman Lassen.
Well, and I didn't want to, canceling the meeting is a moot point. I mean, it has to be canceled. I was thinking that necessity with all that we have on our plate, or rescheduling would be more appropriate. But in the event it's going to really burden our staff with all the other things they have to do right now, and Miss Kathy being new, I'm willing to go to the special meeting concept if we choose to do so, if there's something very pertinent that can't wait. I would say, though, because of that, I would expect and communicate to the village community that we're likely to have a very long meeting that night to catch up on missing that meeting.
Conservation cleanup project of Salado Creek, hosted by St. Gabriel Fly Fishers. Proposed date Saturday, March 14th, 2026.
The Mayor Pro Tem, I'm going to go ahead and take this one.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem and Alderman, and before you is a request for the conservation cleanup project at Salado Creek on Saturday, March 14th. The proposed event is being hosted by the San Gabriel Fly Fisher, and a representative is here this evening to present the project to you and, of course, answer any questions that you may have. Of course, this is the workshop period, so we will not be taking action, and this will be presented to you again at the BOA.
Alderman Sander, do you have anything?
Is he gonna come up and speak? Is that what you said?
Yes.
I mean, I would love for you to come up now, if you don't mind, please.
Thank you.
If you'll just tell us
Yes, sir.
what the program is, please.
So my name's Andrew Carafa. I am the conservation chair for the San Gabriel Fly Fishers. We're basically a bunch of dudes that like to go out and fish and fly fish. We focus more on Georgetown and Central Texas. A bunch of us fish Salado Creek pretty frequently. I'm the newly appointed conservation chair, and so I reached out to the village in October when I came on and asked about doing a conservation project. When we talk about doing a conservation cleanup, we're not assuming that there's trash and debris. We just go out and we'll walk in the river, and what stuff that we find, we remove. I've done a bunch of these. We did a couple down at Berry Creek. I got one coming up with GTX Trails down in Georgetown area. Should be about 10 or 15 of us that are going to come up here. Like she said, it's going to be on Saturday, March the 14th. Barrel Brewing has offered us their support services, and we plan on doing it from about noon to 2. And we're basically just going to enter into the water, being mindful of no trespassing signs and stuff like that. We don't remove anything that's living if we're looking really for trash, diapers, cans, plastic, stuff like that. We'll remove it, put it in our pickup trucks and garbage bags, and then we will haul it back home and dispose of it somewhere. But like I said, most of us fish this. This is actually I consider this my home water during the summer because for those of you that don't know, it is spring fed, so it's about 15 degrees cooler water temperature than down in Georgetown, which makes the fishing good pretty much year round. And I love coming up here. Everybody's been super friendly and helpful with trying to get this organized. So we just wanted to come up and just let you know kind of what we were going to be doing. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So are you going to be fishing while you're looking for debris?
Most of the time, some people will kind of come up an hour or so before and fish, and then kind of afterward or during, they'll kind of pick up the stuff that they find. There's not really any set rule unless the village said, we'd rather you guys just come up and do it. But last time I did one of these, I got there about 2 hours early. I fished and then organized it and then went home.
Okay, and you have approximately how many people that might come?
I think as of right now, we got about 10 to 12 guys that said that they're going to kind of come up and participate. We usually lose a few between now and the event. I'm going to say probably 12 or less will kind of come up. And we're focusing mainly on the west side, going under I-35 and kind of going up, only because as you get down on the east side of that, there's private property and the golf course, and so we're trying to be mindful of that. We're not going to go on anybody's private property. We're focusing strictly on what's in and around the riverbank and that kind of stuff.
Isn't Barrow Brewing on the, am I thinking backwards here?
No, they're on that side, but we're going to congregate there after. They said if we wanted to come up, they would help us out and give us, libations afterward.
Awesome. Yeah, that is nice. And it might be a little bit unrelated, but do you guys, would you guys be willing to consider at some point doing lessons for people in Salado that want to learn how to fly fish?
We have 4 members in our club that are casting instructors through Fly Fishers International, and I'm working getting my certification. I've had several people ask me that. There's a couple people associated with Barrow that asked the same thing, and we would be happy to do that, and I can send that down and up the food chain to who would be interested in coming out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Alderman Lasky.
When was the date again?
Saturday, March the 14th from 12 to 2.
Okay. I think it'd be nice if you could get that to Tim Fleischer and put it in our paper between now and then and let people know what y'all will be doing, and maybe you'll get some more participants that want to help. We are kind of in the process now with other developments coming along that will be challenging the long-term benefits of Salado Creek, and I think it's a great thing what y'all are doing as far as cleaning this creek up, and also willing to give some lessons along the way. That'd be a great event, and I think if you could get that to Tim or get that on our website or something.
Gina sent me an email and asked me if I could send her a little blurb so she can get it posted up there, and I'll get that to her before the event.
Perfect, and
Absolutely.
thank you for doing it.
Absolutely.
Really
I also wanted to
that.
say, since I reached out to all this, Miss Gina and everybody that I talked to, and Manny De La Rosa, everybody's been fantastic about it. We'd love to have you guys do that. And even some folks that I met tonight that found out about it, everybody's been extremely welcoming, which is why we like coming up here, which is why we're also trying to be very conscientious about the whole point of doing one is you're not really supposed to know we're here. We show up, we clean up, and then we leave, and we don't do any further damage. And that's what this is my wheelhouse. It's something I'm very passionate about. So the whole point is let's make sure that we don't do any further damage. Just clean up and make it look nice, and then not get kicked out and ask not to come back.
Yeah, and y'all are not doing any digging or raking
no, sir.
in the
It's going to be just walking along and just kind of seeing stuff that's in the water. We don't remove any of the live vegetation. We don't remove anything like trees or anything like that unless we're asked, unless there's somebody from the village there. It's just going to be stuff that's in the water, that's floating. I was up here a couple weeks ago, and there's some debris and some cans that are, in the water. We'll put our hands in the water and pick them up and take that stuff out.
But y'all are basically going upstream from the dam up here right on Main Street.
Kind of where we want to focus, just because so far of me being up there, I haven't seen a lot of posted property. I know we're fine to be in the water going that way, but it's just because of the golf course and the private property, just to make sure nobody strays away and gets into something or crosses a posted boundary. So that was one of my strict rules of setting this up is please be mindful of the private property, don't trespass, and don't irritate anybody and tick anybody off. And we're all adults. We're all going to be. There's no children in our club, so I think we're all following the rules without a problem.
Okay. Well, thank you. I know we have threatened species down there in the creek, but y'all haven't had any problems with that, and in terms of other places you've been to picking up trash or
no,
debris.
sir. Like I said, we don't try to disturb the habitats at all. That's something that I try to stress. For those of you that don't know, a good sign of a healthy ecosystem in the river is seeing river otters, and I've seen some river otters up here. The reason why that's such a good sign in terms of being healthy is that it means that there's a lot of stuff for them to eat. It also means that the water is fairly clean. I also volunteer with an organization called Science on the Fly in Texas Parks and Wildlife, and I do water testing. And I just took 2 water samples up here at the end of last month. And so far, the water seems pretty clean, and that's evident just by being in it. There's not really any smell to it. I don't go home smelling like I've been in the river all day, which upsets my dogs. But aside from that, I don't go home smelling dirty. And so the preliminary testing I got so far is that the water is very, very clean, and except for being river water, there's debris and sediment in there. We're going to eat that anywhere. And that's kind of what we try to do. Is we're not going to remove anything. Like I said, we're not going to overturn rocks or pull stuff. It's just trash and debris that blows in and stuff like that.
Really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and I hope you have a good time, and thanks for doing it.
Yes, sir.
All right, Alderman Dunst, do you have anything?
No, just appreciate the community event coming in and providing service. I would just ask that if you find something or see something of concern, please let us know. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We compile the water testing, and if we see anything that is alarming, we notify Texas Parks and Wildlife. We also notify TCEQ, and then whatever agencies around or city or villages around, we notify them as well. That stuff that we just sort of communicate with openly, just say, hey, we did this, and then it kind of goes from there. That's just kind of my role, is to do the water testing, and then what happens with that information after that, I kind of pass it where it needs to go.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else other than, hey, I appreciate you guys doing that. We'll get it on our calendars in case you were able to be there, and we appreciate what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Moving on to I, discuss possible ratification of resolution 2026-01 for the village to apply for a criminal justice grant through the Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, in the amount of $10,911.36.
All right, this is an odd one, really. Usually I would like to bring a resolution to the board before anybody signed it. Unfortunately, the Office of the Governor Public Safety Office Division implemented new requirements this year that went application. The deadline for that, for the submission for this was last Thursday. And so I made the call to draft a resolution. I sent that to the attorney. He said that looks good. Possibly the Office of the Governor will accept it if it's ratified. I reached out to the Mayor Pro Tem. He agreed to sign it. And it's been submitted with the grant. We are asking the board to ratify the signature to show that the board does approve the authorization of this resolution. That being said, the Office of the Governor did not say whether or not they would or wouldn't accept a ratification of the resolution. We were kind of caught behind the 8 ball on this one. And so basically this is our attempt to apply for funding and get funded under one of these programs. For the resolution, there is zero match, so there's no financial obligation to the village should the village be awarded the grant or not.
Excuse me, Alderman Sandor.
Okay, so I think for the record, we need to let everybody maybe better understand how we arrived at this problem. Are we able to do that? I think that they're going to hear that we had an opportunity. I think we exercised our right to move forward with that opportunity, but it sounds to me like either something wasn't done appropriately, or if I heard you correctly, a rule change that happened this year, meaning in the last 2.5 months, put us in this position. And but first of all, thank you for catching it as quickly as you could and moving through it as quickly as you could. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for being willing to sign that. I am in full support of this, to be clear. But I am nervous because our police department needs this money. And if something happened up here that did not go well, then I want everyone to know who's responsible for it if we can. And that may not be tonight, but I don't want people thinking that I did something wrong or that this board did something wrong, unless we did, and then I'll take it on the chin.
So historically what would happen is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Fields, is the chief and the village administrator would submit a grant, and then later on, as the board went through its normal process, you would approve the resolution, it would get uploaded after the application had been submitted. That process has been changed at the Office of the Governor, which is catching a lot of jurisdictions off guard. We've actually been told by SITCOG that more funding for Homeland Security dollars may become available under the next, under the application that they just opened, strictly because some jurisdictions won't have time to get a resolution through their processes before submitting it to the Office of the Governor for application. So this is something that's creating a big shakeup, if you will, across the state.
So this isn't just Salado's issue. This is clearly an issue that a lot of people are dealing with. Chief, did you have something you wanted to add to that? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah,
is that okay?
I was going to get ready to call him up.
Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem, members of Alderman. Like Mr. Nelson said, last year when I applied for this grant, the resolution was not required at the time the grant was submitted. I got all the documentation and everything ready, new quotes, got all the data input into the system, and that's when we found out that they had made a change and that the resolution had to be submitted with the application. In an attempt to get that taken care of, we did get a resolution signed, and we're asking that you ratify that resolution. I would like to say this is more than likely a oversight on my part, just because I didn't read in there where it said that it had to be prior to.
Well, I appreciate you being willing to say that. Thank you. And I also appreciate the work that you put into looking for, working on, and managing these grants and bringing them to staff's attention, because I don't think a lot of people realize that the chief just doesn't ride around in a police car full of people over writing tickets. So thank you very much for being honest and also for putting in all this work to do this. And I certainly hope that they will allow this small piece of money to come back to Salado, because it's it would be an honor, not an honor, it would be really good for our police department to have this extra money. I just wish it were, 10 times that amount. So thank you, Chief, and thank you, Ryan. And Mayor Pro Tem.
Alderman Lassiter, do you have anything? Alderman Dunn, do you have anything?
No, it's all covered. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate the work you do. Then moving on to J, interim village administrator update. Mr. Nelson.
All right, I've got a few things on my list, and then we'll get the break, and then we'll get to the regular meeting. I want to make everybody aware that there was a meeting held last week, Monday, with a couple of developers. I am going to be reaching out to see if we can possibly get a workshop put on the books for possibly March 12th for the board and the developers to meet in a workshop style for the village, the community, and the developers to know which direction the village is choosing to go, so that we're not chasing this down months and months and months from now without any real direction. The $945,000, I'm still working on processing all of the information that's attached to that, and at some point in the near future, I do hope to have something to the board and out to the public regarding those funds. The 100% plans for Royal Street have been submitted to TxDOT. They were submitted this week. If the Alderman did not receive the email, please let me know. I believe I forwarded it to everybody, but if I missed anybody, please let me know. Following another meeting Monday morning with Alderman Dunch, Alderman Lassiter, myself, the Chief of Police, and our village finance staff, we discussed possibly reworking what the financial reporting looks like for the meeting. As financial reporting is now, and as you see, this was sent to everybody over the weekend. There's a real time crunch to get these dollars put together, all this information put together for the board to review and take in. During that discussion, it was discussed that even some things are still outstanding that should probably be in these reports, but due to the way the time falls, our accountant does not receive that information prior to producing the financials. A recommendation was made to possibly push the financials to correct me if I'm wrong, Alderman Dunch or Lassiter, to push the financials to the first meeting of the following month, which is a whole 30-day window to allow for our accountant to receive all the documents for the period prior to that. So the reports would be almost a month delayed, but they would be 100% accurate and have all of the information for that reporting period available to the board. I have two more things, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. I was talking with Jim Reed at the COG, and we had discussed internally about the possibility of the COG doing a recruitment for a village administrator. We were just curious if that was something that the board was interested in. I would like to throw a disclaimer out there that I do not have the capacity to run that, so that would be something handed off to somebody else at the COG, possibly Jim, to handle in addition to what I'm doing here. Or if you wanted to go through another firm like was used last, Clear Career or SPR or one of those. And then as I'll probably be doing for the foreseeable future with all of the development and all of the information that I receive every day about wastewater. I am not a wastewater expert. I don't pretend to be one. I've talked to some wastewater folks. I talk to them every day. I talk to wastewater people more since I've been in the village than I ever have. I'm not even gonna lie. But I'm still working to determine on what capacity looks like for our current system, what options there may be for the village, how expansion works, and what our other $1.4 million grant through EPA, what that can be used for, how that would help benefit the village. So hopefully we'll have updates as we continue to move forward. With that, I'm open to any questions.
Alderman Sandover, you got anything?
I'll be brief. So on your opening statement about potential large development, I am somewhat familiar with what I think is going on over there, and I believe that a workshop would be mandatory. And not only that, but I would really want the public to be involved in that workshop. I think the development that is potentially being discussed right now, or not potentially, it is being discussed. I think that it's very big, and so we don't want anybody to feel left out. In the past, we've heard a lot of that. For 8.5 months, I've heard a lot of that, and so I think that this current board is very much open to being just transparent through in and throughout. So I hope everybody will show up and listen to that discussion. I can't imagine that. So I hope everybody will show up and listen to that discussion. I can't imagine that discussion being less than maybe a couple of hours. And that would not happen, I don't believe, in front of a Board of Aldermen meeting. It would happen on its own date. It would be a workshop all by itself. So that's one item. And then on need, please, and this is very normal, they've done this all along the way. I would like spiral bound on legal size, the entire plan set, please, for me. And I just as soon as reasonably possible, next week's early enough also, if they can get it together for you, please. That's the only comments I have on that. Thank you.
Alderman Alaska.
I hope, since we principally run our business on a cash basis, that we'll be able to, as a group, agree to push it back, even though 30 days a little later than I want, on cash basis. If we don't get all the details in, then you really don't get a very good picture of your budget versus your performance for the month. So I hope y'all will consider that. I think it'd be more informational, and we'll be able to make better decisions and understand where we are in our budgets on a much more frequent basis. I think that's imperative. And not matching up to our amendments along the way to the budget, if we make those, and showing that on these budgets that our system right now of management accounting is archaic, to say the least. So I'm hoping to help bring it up, not being a CPA, but seeing a lot of financial statements over the years. I think we can do a lot better. And our members, our community that's interested in accounting will see a better picture too, and understand it more on a monthly basis than the way it's been presented in the past. I wanted to ask you as a question the status of our general counsel, and I just wanted to know, Mr. Nelson, if I heard you correctly, you have put, well, I'll just ask you what the status of that is in terms of looking for a replacement.
So we do have an RFQ out for that service.
Okay.
City ordinance requires that we submit that. This state law.
Okay.
Legal is one area where we don't have to do an RFQ, but our ordinances do require it. So we did a 30-day RFQ. I haven't received any responses to that yet, other than one or two firms just emailing me, and I don't know, I don't recall who they were, saying that they were interested in submitting. That being said, our current legal contract will continue forward and not leave us high and dry without new legal representation.
Thank you. I believe there might have been some miscommunication on that, but I did want to make sure the public understood that our attorney was not leaving us high and dry on March 1. So I just want to make sure people understood that, and we'll go forward on that basis and interview new firms and counsel when the time comes. But thank you for clarifying that. I don't. That's all I really had at this point. I look forward to getting the $945,000 issue put to bed and moving forward, and establishing some new guidelines for trust and transparency along the way. So I'm good with that. And thanks Zach for all his help in the interim, so that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Alderman Dunce, you got anything?
Just that after meeting with our accountant and going through and seeing the way things are being done today, there's a lot of transactions that aren't getting in a timely manner, and I do think we benefit by closing out the books 30 days out versus the 2 weeks. Also looking and echoing this, but we're really looking forward to buttoning up the 947K, and I think we got line of sight to doing that.
All right, thank you. The only thing I have was like, I think it's a great thing. We'll do a standalone workshop with the developments and all that within the village and the surrounding areas. Then I totally agree with making the finances the 30 days instead of the 2 weeks, just so we have all the information that we need in there. You got anything else with that, Mr. Nelson? No. Let's move on to number 3. I'll take a motion for adjournment. 6:17, adjourn. We'll take a 10-minute break, then we'll go right into our regular meeting. Thank you, guys. Welcome to the Board of Aldermen meeting, Salado Municipal Building, 301 North Stagecoach Road, Salado, Texas. It's February 19th, 2026, and it is 6:30. Mr. Nelson, call the roll.
We do have a quorum in person and one member attending virtually in accordance with Chapter 551.127 of Texas Administrative Code, which allows video conferencing as long as the quorum of the governing body is at one place.
All right, thank you. All right, let's take a moment to pray to your own faith. All right, if we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the Texas flag. All right, public comments. This will be with not on the agenda. The Board of Aldermen welcomes comments from citizens on issues and items of concern not on the agenda. Those wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting begins and observe a 5-minute time limit when addressing the board. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak during this time. Inquiries about matters not listed on the agenda will either be directed to the staff or placed on a future agenda for Alderman consideration. No discussion or final action will be taken by the Board of Aldermen during this public comment period of the meeting. All right, so I got Bev Turnbow. Excuse me.
Good evening. I'm Bev Turnbow, 349 College Hill Drive, Salado, and I'm here tonight to talk about parking. For years, our village has really struggled with parking, as you all know, and I brought a couple of pictures just to kind of show you what some of the problem is, if I may. This is on College Hill Drive, where I live, on a weekend, and as you will be able to see, there's room for only one-lane traffic on that road on weekends often, and there wouldn't be room for a fire truck to get through. So parking is an issue. So I've been trying to think of where we've got to figure out what we can do to leverage some parking. And I would like to make a recommendation to put some parking spots in Pace Park on the gravel areas. I discussed this with a former county official who's also a contractor, and he said it could easily be done without having to pay an engineer. So we're trying to also save money at the same time. I'll show you the area in this picture if I could. I drove around, and at night when the All Abilities playground is not being used, there's probably at least 45 to 50 spots that could be used for parking. That would go a long way to alleviate some of the parking that we have. Now, I don't know how we'd manage to, whether or not there would be a shuttle available to and from, but again, I think that could be worked out. Cedar posts could be used as wheel stops if they had to, and there's plenty of a buffer to protect the creek. It's only one small solution, but right now, it's illegal to park up there. And the sign says no driving or parking. So right now, there are people that park up there that go utilize the creek. But I think we just need to be creative. Can we utilize space that's available? And I think one town that we could look at as a good example is Greene. Green took some space behind the park and is able to park about 200 cars there. They had the same issue with parking. So we just need to, I think outside the box and what's available and what's accessible to Main Street, Salado. So I ask that you consider this at a future time, but it's one small step for mankind. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have Ms. Sands.
Good evening. Kathy Sands, 3901 Chisholm Trail. I have two things that I'd like to talk about. One is our stop signs that we have up here at the four-way stop, the one also at the entrance of Mill Creek and Main Street by the bank, and the ones over by Sonic, the three-way stop. We come at night a lot up and down Main Street and almost have been hit at night because people cannot see the stop signs. If we could put the flashing signs like we have over going to the school, that would be wonderful, because if we hadn't stopped and sat there to see if they were going to stop, we would have been broadsided several times at all of these locations. And when you come under the bridge by Sonic, that stop sign, those stop signs there also, because people are coming off of the interstate and just fly through there and run the stop signs. And I know the police have been out there, I've seen them. And I would be glad to work with TxDOT. I worked with them doing Main Street. If you all need somebody to help, I know y'all are really, really busy. And I know Gina's busy. I'll be glad to do that. And the other place that is very dangerous is when you're coming off of the interstate on the south end of Main Street. Before you get to the Stagecoach Inn, people come flying, going 50 miles an hour. They may be from Salado, they may not be, but somebody's going to be hit. If we could put a pedestrian flashing light on the road there, the highway, it's also TxDOT, warning people to slow down so they don't run over somebody crossing the street to go to the Stagecoach Inn or the museum or Chupacabra, whatever. And that's also I think Gina's working on this. The lights are out under the bridge. She's working with TxDOT on that, but they haven't replaced those yet. It's really dark. And then the other issue I had is, I know we have an ordinance that says no neon signs, and I hope you all go along with that forever, because if you get one neon sign, you're going to get 20. And that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Walsh, Darlene?
Darlene Walsh, 1001 Mill Creek Drive, Salado. I brought it up once before, but I'll mention it again. It's been a while. We have a lot of dead tree limbs that hang over roads and sidewalks, and you know, I believe they're the responsibility of town to take care of before someone gets hurt, killed, or ends up in a wheelchair for life, like our governor. So, and it has happened to other people that I know of in town. And I just think we need to find some way to budget, get rid of some of these dead limbs that they're going to come down one day. And I just hope no one person's under them. The other thing is, I hope that we have somewhere where we can review whatever plans happen on West Village Road. And I do know there are a couple of properties on that side that are in the county. They're not part of Salado. So those properties are going to have to, their right of way is going to have to be dealt with probably before anything. We're dealing with the same sort of thing in Belton right now. So you need to remember that there's a couple properties over there that aren't in town and aren't part of the Carruthers property where they gave us part of that right away. So something to think about. And I appreciate that you're having workshops. I hope that'll give people a lot of opportunity to express themselves before final decisions are made, because there may be issues that you're not aware of, and it's always better for you to make a decision when you have become aware of issues. And so for that reason, I really support workshops. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anything else for public comments that's not on the agenda? No? All right, we're moving on to B, items on the agenda. The Board of Aldermen welcomes comments from citizens on issues and items of concern on the agenda. Those wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting begins or observes a 5-minute time limit when addressing the board. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak per agenda item during this time. Public comments on agenda items will only be received during this portion of the meeting. No discussion or final action will be taken by the Board of Aldermen during this public comment period of the meeting. Do we have anybody that's wants public comments just on the agenda items? No? All right. We'll move on to consent agenda. Approval of the minutes of February 25th, 2026 Board of Aldermen regular meeting. Approval of addition of bank signatories. Approval of the conservation cleanup project at Salado Creek hosted by San Gabriel Fly Fishers. Proposed date, Saturday, March 14th, 2026. Approval of the financial report ending on January 31st, 2026. Approval of the sales tax collection report. Acceptance of the 2025 Stagecoach Economic Development Report. Acceptance of the Police Department Monthly Report. Acceptance of the Police Department 2025 Annual Report. Acceptance of the Convention Visitors Bureau Monthly Report. Mr. Nelson.
So these are all on the consent agenda, unless anybody would like to have an item pulled from the agenda and discussed in number 3. If there are questions for any of the reports, we do have staff here available to speak to those if needed. But yes, these are all consent agenda items.
All right. Alderman Sandor?
I have no discussion.
All right. Alderman Laster?
Yes, I would like to
Okay. Then Alderman Dunch, do you have any comment?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so for the consent agenda minus D, F, and H, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as written, less D, F, and H.
Motion made to approve this.
I'll second.
We got one, thank you. Motion to approve this consent agenda by Alderman Sandor minus Delta Foxtrot Hotel, seconded by Alderman Laster. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Is there any abstentions? Did you vote, Alderman Dunch? We didn't hear your vote.
Yes, sorry, bad connection.
Okay, it passes 4-0. Moving on to 3, discuss and consider possible action regarding any item removed from the consent agenda. We'll start off with item D, approval of the financial reports ending January 31st, 2026. Alderman Laster.
Yes. Thank you for allowing me to pull these. My only comment on item D, the approval of financial reports, is I understand we had some delays in getting the financial reports. I personally am not prepared tonight to say that I could approve these. I think they need to be reviewed, and I need time to do that, and I would therefore suggest to you that we pass this up and place it on our next meeting's agenda for questions and review at that time.
Okay. Well, Alderman Sandor, do you have anything?
I do not.
Alderman Dunch?
I do not.
Okay. You got anything, Mr. Nelson? Okay.
We're tabling just that one.
Yeah, we're just doing D right now. Yes, sir.
Potentially.
I'll make a motion, Mayor Pro Tem, to just table the financial reports and add it to the March 5 meeting.
All right, Alderman Lassiter has made a motion to table the approval of a financial report until the first meeting in March.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Sandor. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Then Alderman Dunch, we didn't hear your vote. Is that a yes?
It looked like a yes.
It looked like a yes.
I don't know if we need to.
All right, that passes table 4-0. All right, item 3, which will be the acceptance of the 2025 Stagecoach Economic Development Report. Mr. Lassiter.
Well, my question was, are we going to go back through this again in a presentation, or have we've already satisfied ourselves with respect to them meeting the requirements and we're done with it? I didn't know, so that's why I asked the poet so I could ask that question.
Alderman Sandor.
It's my understanding from a conversation with Ryan Nelson earlier this afternoon that the Stagecoach folks have done everything that they are required to do for the contract. Okay. To some degree, to the formality.
Yes.
They've already crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's per staff, and whoever, you had someone else review?
Our accountant.
Our accountant.
That's the issue to check.
Yes, that's what I understand too. That's what I was going to say. But Alderman Dunst, do you have anything on that for item F?
I do not.
Okay, I'll entertain it. All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to for item F, acceptance of the 2025 Stagecoach Economic Development Report.
To accept consent agenda item F.
All right. Alderman Sandor has moved to accept the 2025 Stagecoach Economic Development Report. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll make it.
Seconded by Alderman Lassiter.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Is there any abstentions?
Well, Mayor Pro Tem, if I may, I'd just like to thank Mr. Nelson for and Mr. Sandor's review of that and recommendations. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Alderman Dunst, was that a yes on your side? Oh, okay, I didn't see it. So that's
a yes.
Passes 4-0. Then item 3, it'll be H, acceptance of the Police Department 2025 Annual Report. Alderman Lassiter.
I spoke with Chief Fields before the meeting and satisfied my questions, but I was expressed that report was done. He is one of the largest community, and I actually just really wanted to say thank you to. I personally am very happy with what I see, and I appreciate their efforts and integrity, and I just wanted to raise that point here, and that's really all I wish to do, rather than just let it pass through and say nothing.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Sandor?
No comment.
Then I think Alderman Dunch has gone offline. We take a motion to accept the Police Department 2025 Annual Report.
I move to accept item H as written.
Alderman Sandor has made a motion to accept the Police Department 25 Annual Report. Do I hear a second?
Yes, second.
Second by Alderman Lassiter. All those in favor say yes.
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 All those opposed say no. Any abstentions? No.
Just have one more comment, if I may, Mayor Pro Tem.
But,
I really hope that the effort that was put into the report itself is put online so everybody can see it. It's very, very well done. To see some copies of that for people coming to town to see when they're introduced to Salado and see what we're all about. And I'm very proud of our police department. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That passed 3-0. Moving on to 4, discussing possible action of Stagecoach economic incentive payment and annual budget approval. Alderman Sandor, do you have anything on that?
As I mentioned a moment ago, it's my understanding for a conversation I had this afternoon with Mr. Uriah Nelson that Stagecoach staff has met all of the requirements they needed to per the contract agreement between them and the Village of Salado. My only comment.
Okay, Alderman Laster, do you have anything?
I have no questions.
And I would, same thing, you guys met all your gates, so it's good to go. So I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve item 4A as written.
Alderman Sandor has made a motion to approve 4A as presented. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Laster. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Is there any abstentions? Passes 3-0. Moving on to item B, discussion of possible action of road and drainage study. I think
I believe during the workshop, and I don't want to speak for the board, it's your decision to make, but I believe there was a conversation and a desire to possibly table all actions associated with this item until at least March 5th. We'll bring it back to the board with additional information and possible action. We need to postpone it or anything, again, we will at that point in time.
Yes, that was my understanding too.
Yeah, we just need a motion to table.
Table item 4B.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
4B, pending a review and a discussion possible future date.
Right. Oh. Okay. Alderman Laster has made a motion to table the road and drainage study until village administrator gets further information on it. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Sandor. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed say no. Any abstentions? Passes 3-0. 4C, discussion and possible action on community project funding award for West Village Road. Mr. Brown, or Nelson, sorry.
Yeah, I believe what we're looking for here is an action for the board to move forward and possibly even appoint a member to assist with working through all of the application materials so we can move forward with getting this $5.5 million to scope done and this project moving and not just kick the can down the road, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
If I were to make a motion, am I able to ask that I be the person that helps do that, or does someone else need to make the motion?
No.
Disregard, never mind.
I mean, you're the POC anyway, so you're going to be right next to him, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think all the motion will be is allow the village administrator to move forward on actions pertaining to the funding of West Village Road. If you want to, yeah.
I'll make the motion to project funding award for West Village Road with Divine Nelson and Sandor involved with the interaction necessary project.
All right, Alderman Lassiter made a motion to have village administrator to move forward on the project along with Alderman Sandor. Do I hear a second? Second. Seconded by Alderman Sandor. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Any abstentions? That passes 3-0. 4D, discussion of possible action on appointments of members and alternates to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Nelson.
So this was discussed in the workshop, and a couple of individuals were actually provided the opportunity to introduce themselves. It is the board's discretion should they choose to appoint one of the individuals that's been for tonight. Staff are recommending an appointment of a member to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission for the remainder of the term vacated by Leonard Reynolds. And we're also asking that that motion and appointment be made to carry into the next term, through the next term, so to May of 2026, and so that this individual doesn't have to come back before the board for reappointment end of the next term.
Alderman Sanders.
Yeah, so I I have a question for staff, Mr. Tim. Yeah, so do you foresee any P&Z items coming our way in the next 2 weeks? I know that's hard to answer, but just anything that stands out right away.
We have nothing for the next week. We canceled the meeting, but I do have some things in the pipeline. Whether or not it would come the following week, I can't really predict. It just depends on how quickly. We have some items definitely that we will need to pertain to business before May.
Yeah, and I see that, but I also think that from what I've been paying attention to, I don't think that we have anything coming in the next 2 weeks, although that is always subject to changing, so I don't disagree with your statement. I personally would like, and I did not have time before this meeting for a multitude of reasons, but I would like to try to visit and speak for a few seconds up here to try to interview them and make sure. I have been responsible for approving someone who then resigned, and so I didn't then interview folks. I just, we were trying to fill seats, I think, in that moment, to be honest, and I would love the opportunity. So I know that staff wants us to consider making a decision tonight. I don't believe that I'm ready to do that. I want an opportunity to reach out to these folks and visit with them up here at the municipal building. That's my comment.
Oh, the last one.
Question for you, Ms. Pence. Do we have a quorum? Does a quorum exist right now with respect to anything that would come through to you with 3 on the board?
Yes, sir. If everyone's in attendance, yes, sir, we will have a quorum.
Planning Commission process has kind of been all over the board going back a few years, and at some point in the future I'd like to streamline it so we're all on the same page early. People that have applied for this, like Mr. here and the others, I don't know how long they have applied. He made reference to a long time ago that he did. I would too like to, willing to make my time work in a pair and visit and hear what somebody has to say on it. I really would like to find some people that really want to dig into the Planning Commission and help us, and we need the help, and I know that we have a lot forthcoming on planning in the future to deal with. So I personally, I would like to give preference to the 3 people that have already put their application in when we interview, and if we don't fill those seats with those, then look at the other 4. So I guess what I'm saying is I would prefer to defer at the moment with Mr. Sandor, but I'd like to have those discussions with, if any of the 3 that have already applied do so, and then if we feel like we have a couple of candidates which are trying to fill 2, is that right?
The alternate.
Yeah, then there'd be 2 to fill plus 1 or 2 alternates, right? And
Right now, it's just one vacancy.
Yeah.
Just one vacancy and then possibly one alternate. Now, okay, May 31st, 4 others come off of his P&G, which is, so we'll have to, kind of why we only started it tonight. Yeah.
I'd like to suggest that we put this on the next March agenda. Give us a chance to talk to these people that already have applied and been in here. And if we're comfortable and want to move forward with that, have it placed on the agenda at that time.
And I think my question would be then, would it be, because what I'm hearing is both of you would like to possibly interview. I don't know if Mayor Pro Tem would like to interview.
Yes.
But if it would be more beneficial to have a workshop type session where you can interview the candidates as a body, not take any action, but interview them, so that candidates aren't trying to meet with all 4 of you at different points in time. They can meet with you at one point. We can have Ms. Cherry schedule a workshop and do 1-hour interview slots.
Trying to facilitate at one time and not take their time as well, and I'm amenable to that. I don't know that it needs to be an hour between each one, because I don't anticipate it take that long, but,
yeah, I mean, we're happy to coordinate that. I just don't, I wasn't sure what the feeling was from other individual.
With just the 2 gentlemen, or just to provide them with one more person on the P&Z, if that works.
Yeah, you're ready? So I move to have a workshop on February the 26th, Thursday. What time?
You want to do 5 again?
Sir?
5 again? Be out of here by 6, hopefully.
Sure. At 5 p.m., February 26th, workshop for 1 hour for interviewing the applicants that were present tonight. Do I need to state their names?
You don't have to unless you. All right, Alderman Sandor's made a motion to have a town hall meeting, or not a town hall meeting, workshop at 1700 with the 2 candidates that showed up tonight. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Alderman Lasser. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed say no. Is there any abstentions? That passes 3-0.
ask a question.
Yeah.
At that time, will we be able to make have a vote and pick one at that time? I didn't think so. So it would go into the March 5 for an official vote. Okay.
Yes. Fair enough. Thank you. All right, moving on to 4E, discussion possible action on rescheduling or cancellation of the second Board of Aldermen meeting in March. Alderman Sandor.
No comment.
Alderman Laster.
We are canceling that, correct?
That's it, yeah. So you guys want to make that motion?
And the question was whether we were going to reschedule or just incorporate it into the March 5 meeting. Wasn't that right?
Yes, or
motion would be to cancel the meeting based on not having a quorum.
Okay.
And then I think the known would be that we could also call for a special meeting. Mayor Pro Tem said he would oblige. Okay. The only motion we need tonight is to
just to cancel the meeting.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'll make a
I
motion
appreciate
to cancel the meeting and.
All right, Alderman Laster made a motion to cancel the meeting, the second meeting in March for the Board of Aldermen. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Sandor. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed say no. Yes. Any extensions? Passes 3-0.
I know I'm kind of out of order, but I'd like to make sure because we have no quorum. It's okay. Don't worry.